Oh yeah. Hello YouTubes, today I'm going to attempt to make a curved backdrop for my new HO layout, and I'm going to be using 2-foot sections of hardboard. Now hardboard is great because it's nice and bendy, but it doesn't keep its shape, and I want to be able to remove the backdrop if necessary, if I'm doing scenery and I don't want to ruin the backdrop. Now, how do you keep it bent? Well, apparently the secret is good old Windex original. As I say, I haven't tried this before, but according to YouTube, this is the secret. So let me show you where we're going to start. I'm going to start in this corner here. It's going to attach to this first post, bend round there, quite a tight curve along here, and terminate halfway on that post there. So what's the process? Well, apparently we find the area we want to curve, saturate it in Windex, about a foot wide, and then slowly manoeuvre it into position. I'm skeptical, but we'll give it a shot. Right, let me measure the apex of the curve. I think that's the right word. Transfer the measurement over to the board and start with the Windexing. Wish me luck. I'm going to draw my curve in first. Roughly there. Centre of the curve then. About there. Measure that to the starting point. Let's call that 27 inches. Transfer that over to the hardboard, which is actually a lot further than I expected. 27 inches. Now we just spray this area, well, about 6 inches either side of the 27 inch mark. Before I do that, however, I'm going to put one of these studs at either side, where it starts and where it stops, as a sort of blocker. And hopefully I won't have to use clamps, but I do have a couple of clamps just in case. Right, let me screw these onto the first post and the last post. Windex time. Apparently you do have to saturate it, and I think the reason you use the original one with ammonia is it evaporates once it's dry and doesn't have any long lasting effects. You should be able to paint over it. I think that's why everyone uses it. So I'll do another coat this side, turn it over, make sure it's nice and wet. Obviously I want to start bending before it starts drying. Right, let's give it a shot. Please don't break, please don't break. Now it is curving a bit too far in there. I'm going to put a bit of wood behind there just to bring this side straight. Make that a couple of bits of wood. So it is buckling a bit over there because it's not bending quite right. I'll just keep forcing it in nice and slowly and try and keep that curve. Let's leave it to dry, see what happens. The buckled bit won't stay buckled because it doesn't have any Windex in it. Let that dry for a few hours. See you soon. So I went ahead and bent the second panel, but let's see how the first panel's getting on. So hopefully if I remove this from the block, it won't just spring straight. It's not as tight as I'd like. I might do another application, but it's certainly not. I can bring it right out here and it's holding that bend. That might be enough. We'll see. So I will continue with making sure the second section's good, and then the third section. Do have a bit of a problem in the corner over there. Let me show you. This length here is going to end just before the corner. It's going to be roughly there. So it's going to be kind of hard to bend the next section just at the very end. Not impossible, but I might have to rethink the technique. I might just do one single curved section just in the corner. We'll see. I do have another sheet of the hardboard, so I'm not worried about that. I just need to decide how to divide it all up. I now have most of my backdrop bent to shape. Now the way it's worked out is this is actually sticking out a fair bit more than I was expecting, but that's okay. I can put a faceplate down here and just kind of make this join from there to there just to finish it off. But I'm happy with that radius, that's fine. That joins to this section. I'm undecided whether or not I want to use the mud to blend that in. If this lifts up a little bit, it'll close the gap. And if I'm very clever with my painting, then you might not see that. It also means that it's going to be removable if I don't mud it together, because there's nothing else attaching this to the back at the moment. And that's where my tape comes in, which has just arrived, same day from Amazon. I call it Velcro, you guys will call it hoop and loop tape. So I'm going to be trying that, double-sided, well not double-sided, it sticks to the posts and then the other side sticks to this, so I can just rip it off if I want to edit it, I guess. Paint it out in the garage rather than in the basement without ventilation. Moving round then, that's got a nice curve to it. Don't worry about the gaps, there's going to be foam going in there. Nothing's joined on yet, it's just sitting, and I'm quite happy with where it all is. So, this tricky section I was telling you about, I decided just to cut this, I cut this much out of it, so that it stops there, and then that means the next section, it's much easier to create the bend. That bend is still drying, but it's all measured out. I will need to add one more post in here, and then add an extra bit. Obviously that's not big enough now, so I'll need to dip into my stock of hardboard. Right, so let's try some of this hook and loop tape. I am a bit concerned it's not going to stick to this bare wood. I might need to paint this first, but we'll give it a shot. Let's move this out the way for now. Look at that. holding its shape. Lovely. Make sure you got some nice scissors. Okay, sometimes these things come pre-stuck together, like that section is stuck together, but it's not, it's two separate rolls. I think it doesn't really matter which way round you go, so we'll just put the soft side on the wall. Measure that out first. Ooh, it's quite tough. I was expecting it to cut a lot easier. Maybe my scissors are just crap. Right, that's going to go there. Stick it on. Well, hopefully stick it on. So far it seems to have stuck quite well. What I'm going to do now is put the other side on, because it's a lot easier to smooth this down when it's attached to something otherwise. Jaggy side, right. It's easier to smooth it down when it's attached to that, otherwise you're going to rip your finger off in the jaggy stuff. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So now I'm going to peel off the adhesive protection and then put the hardwood on. Perfectly straight. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly straight because it's velcro. I can rip it off and realign it. That's way more rigid than I was expecting. That's really good. I'm not going to immediately try and rip it off the velcro because I need the glue, the adhesive in the bag. I need that sometime to bond. So let's get the other side on. I'm going to be doing two strips, one for this side and one for that side. Jaggy side. Take the tape off. Stick on the backdrop. That's great. There is one more post to do there, but I wanted to make sure the two extremes were done first. Excellent. Right, let me get the rest done. I think that looks pretty good. Still got that final section to do, but I need to make a new post, and I don't know quite where to put the post until that corner finishes doing its bendy thing. It's roughly in the right place, but I'll wait till tomorrow because it's a bit late to be chopping wood. And then we are going to paint. I just want to add a wash of white paint for now, until I decide if I'm going to get all artistic with clouds and blue sky or order a printed backdrop, but they're kind of expensive. So I'll maybe just stick with white paint for now, maybe a hint of blue, and then we can always paint over it or add a backdrop printed picture. Okay, what we do now, go for a wee sleep, wake up in the morning, do some painting. Good morning. Found some white satin paint. It's only been in the basement for 3 years. Let's see if it's any good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will have separated. I do have a stirry stick. Oh, I just dropped stuff in it. Kind of looks a bit yellowy, but we'll give it a stir. Oh, there's white stuff at the bottom. Doesn't look very white. Hold on, it's getting whiter. Oh, it's like magic. There we go. I guess it was just the oily stuff that was at the top, because that's coming up quite nice. Yes. Perfect. See, never throw your old paint out. You never know when you're suddenly going to build a model railway in your basement. Right, I'll give this a bit more of a stir, pour it into paint tray, and I've got a little roller. Should be ideal. Could use a full-size roller, but I don't have one, and I'm not going to go and buy one just for this. Lovely. Yum, yum, yum. What do you mean I missed a bit? Okay, I got distracted. There was a train show today and it's my birthday, so leave me alone. Anyway, you get the idea. I know it looks a bit patchy, right? I mean, it is patchy, but it's just a primer. And I will be either adding some nice blue paint and fluffy clouds or some sort of printed backdrop. But I'm happy with how it all turned out. I really like that technique with the Windex for the curves. That works really well. And the velcro tape, really good. I got that on Amazon. There's a link in the description, and it was half the price of anything you could find in Home Depot, so check that out. It was same day delivery as well for Amazon Prime. Okay, coming up next, because I didn't spend all my money at the train show, I've got enough to now go and get the foam base. And then we can get the foam base down, cut that to shape. I'll probably paint over that with just some brown paint, and then we can finally start laying some track. Oh no, wait, I haven't designed the track plan yet. We'll get there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you dropping by, and subscribe and click the bell to make sure you see the next installment. Bye for now.